Welcome to your weekly music rhythm lessons, short music theory lessons combining our musical and our mathematical skills.
Okay, here is your music rhythm lesson 4. We're going to have a look at last week's answers first of all, and then have a look at the new challenges for this week. I hope you enjoy them. First of all, a quick recap of all the rhythms we are using so far. So we have, starting at the top and going downwards, we have semiquavers, which have the double line across the top or the bottom to show us that they are semiquavers. You get them in pairs or in groups of 4, or sometimes on their own. And if they're on their own, they don't have a straight line, they have a bit of a wiggly tail. Have a quick look at the picture there. And they are, of course, quarter beats. So 4 of those make up 1 beat. Second row down, we've got the quavers, and they are half beats. So 2 of those make up a beat, and they can also come in groups of 4 or pairs or on their own. And in 4s or pairs, they have 1 straight line across, and on their own, they have 1 squiggly tail, as opposed to the double squiggly tail of the semiquaver. And we also have a quaver rest there shown, and that's a little squiggly curly thing, looks a little bit like a quaver crisp. Underneath that, we have our crotchet beats, and they are really simple, straight beats. 1 crotchet equals 1 beat, so they are easy to count, and they are filled in, so they are black with a stem, a straight stem, and you also have a crotchet rest, which looks like that squiggly line there. Then we have our minims, which are not filled in, so they are white, and they are 2 beats each, and they also have a straight stem. And at the bottom, our semibrieves, and you can tell it's a semibrieve because it doesn't have a stem, so it's just a circle on the line or in the gap, and they are worth 4 beats. Okay, let's have a look at last week's challenges. So this is the year 1 and 2 task for last week, and as you can see, it was a mix of crotchets and minims with some crotchet rests thrown in as well. And the answer, which I think all of you got, was 12. So well done everyone who completed that challenge and sent the answers in. The answer was 12. And you can see we've got 4 crotchets in the first couple of bars. And then at the end, we've got 4 minims. Of course, those are worth 2 beats each. So that's 4 times 2, 2, 4, 6, 8 in the minims there at the end, plus the 4 crotchets at the beginning. So that makes our 12. Okay, here is last week's challenge for year 3 and 4. It was a little bit harder because we've got some dotted minims there. So you really needed to remember what the dotted notes mean. And of course, the dot adds half the value of the note again. So we've got 2 dotted minims, and the minim is normally 2 beats. Half of a minim is, of course, 1 beat. So we add that together. So a dotted minim is actually 3 beats. So those 2 notes there are worth 3 beats each, and we'll add those in a minute. So we've got 3 crotchets at the beginning, 1, 2, 3, plus our first 3-beat dotted minim. So we're up to 6. Then a crotchet, that's 7. 2 minims, so 8, 9, 10, 11. And then in the last bar, we've got a crotchet and then another 3-beat dotted minim. So that takes us up to 15 beats. Now, a quick, easy way of working this one out would have been to realize there's 4 bars. Each one's got 4 beats. We know that because it says 4, 4 at the beginning. So we've got 4 lots of 4 beats. So that would be 16 minus the 1 crotchet rest at the beginning. So if we'd had a good look at this carefully, we'd have realized there's 16 beats overall, and we can take away that 1 crotchet rest at the beginning. So actually, we can see straight away this is 15 beats, or we can add it up like we just did. Here is last week's year 5 and 6 challenge, and this was quite hard because you've got a lot of quavers. You've got some tied quavers, which can be a bit off-putting. I've got a dotted crotchet in the middle of that, so you had to think about what is 1 plus half of 1. So you had to really think carefully on this one. And the answer was 12.5. Now, it is possible for you to add up the 4 bars of 4 to make 16 again, like we did for the year 3-4 challenge, and then take off the crotchet and quaver rests. However, it doesn't tell us anywhere here that we have 4 beats in a bar, so we only know that by actually counting and working it out. So we do have to add the notes together and actually work it out slowly. So if we start at the beginning, we've got a run of 4 quavers. We've actually got 3 tied together, but then the 4th note is also a quaver, and it's tied to the next crotchet. And then after that, we've got another quaver. So in that first bar, we've got 5 quavers and a crotchet. So that's actually 3.5 beats. Then in the second bar, we've got 1, 2 crotchets at the beginning, that's 2 beats, a quaver, and then a crotchet which is dotted, so a dotted crotchet which is 1.5 beats. So actually in that second bar, we've got a full 4 beats. And in the third bar, we've got crotchet, quaver, quaver, crotchet, crotchet. So that's also 4 beats. 1, 2 halves, 1, 1. That's 4 beats there. And then in the last bar, 1 beat. So just to recap, the first bar was 3.5 beats. Second and third bar were 4 beats each. So that takes us to 11.5. And the final bar had an extra beat, so 12.5 beats there. Okay, well done everyone who got those right. And also the bonus question for both the year 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 tasks last week was, what was this piece? And you may have realized it was When the Saints. And actually, if we have a quick look back, the year 3-4 challenge, and that was quite slow with crotchets. Da 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 da. But then the year 5 and 6 challenge was actually the same pattern, but just with different notation, so different rhythms there, because we've got quavers instead of crotchets. But it's actually the same, but just faster. Da 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 da. So it's actually double the speed by halving the length of all the notes. So last week's bonus question was When the Saints. Right, let's have a look at this week's questions. This is Music Rhythm Lesson 4, Challenge 1 for Year 1 and 2. Another relatively straightforward one here. We've got some crotchet rests at the beginning, so think about those. Then we've got some crotchets and minims mixed together. So count those carefully and remember how long your crotchets and minims are. If you're finding this one too easy, have a look at the Year 3-4 one as an extra challenge for you this week. Okay, the year 3-4 one question straight away then is, what piece do you think this is? I'll give you a clue. The last few weeks have been a mix of pop and jazz music. This week we are going for a classical theme. So it's a famous classical piece that you should know. So the question is, what do you think it is? And also, how many beats are there in this phrase? Now, this is a 6-bar phrase, so look carefully at it. You've got a mix of crotchets, minims, some dotted crotchets and quavers. Have a careful look at this one and see if you can work out the answer.
Okay, finally, year 5 and 6, you've got a variation on a theme to work out.
So the theme is the piece that is in the challenge for the year 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you've got a variation on that. This is quite a common thing in classical music, where a composer would take a theme of a piece of music and then create variations of it and play around with it. So actually, once you know what the theme is, what the piece is that the year 3 and 4 have been having to work out, you would then be able to have a listen or play this piece or play this variation of it on your instrument, and you would hear that original theme sort of in the background, but with extra notes added. So you've got a bit of a variation on a theme here, and you've got some quite nasty mixes of different rhythms. You've got lots of quavers to add together, some dotted crotchets in there, quavers and minims, and a few rests in between to make sure you don't miscount by mistake. So have a very careful look at that one, and for everyone, see if you can work out this week's bonus question and what is the classical piece that I have written here for you. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed this week's music rhythm lesson. Take care and see you soon.